Uh, okay, it's Tuesday, April 21st, approximately 9 a.m. And I apologize. I feel like I've been posting a lot of videos lately. Maybe I shouldn't apologize. I mean, this is basically becoming like a daily video diary for me, which is, sort of what I intended it to be. And I don't know what it is about Tuesday mornings, but they've just been really, really tough for me. And like last Tuesday, today is pretty overcast, so I'm sure that has something to do with it. I think the weather certainly affects my mood, and an overcast day in New York City is kind of a downer, to say the least. Anyway, I just got back from the gym, and I thought I'd try something new this morning. I've been going to bed a lot earlier lately. I think the past 3 nights I've been in bed by 9, which is a major effort on my part. I really have to, buckle down when I get home from work or on the weekends and just kind of get everything done that I need to get done by 8:30 to make sure I'm like in bed with my, teeth brushed, by 9. So that's tough, especially when my wife gets home late from her classes, because I want to stay up and I want to talk to her about the day and find out how her classes and things were and whatnot. And I just can't do that. It's a sacrifice. I have to be in bed so I can get enough sleep. So anyway, I was in bed last night by 9, and I woke up this morning earlier than I normally would, because I've been getting up around 6:30, which, if you go to bed at 9 o'clock, that's not too bad. That's like 9 hours, 10 hours of sleep, so more than sufficient sleep. But obviously my wife is going to bed later than that, so she doesn't want to get up that early, which is tricky for her. So that's a sacrifice on her part. It makes her even more tired. But anyway, I got up earlier than usual, and I thought I would try to do my cardio before the workout as opposed to after. And the reason being, because, over the past couple weeks, I'm really good at convincing myself that I'll just do the cardio the next day. So if I get to the gym and I have a decent workout, or, I at least put myself through the paces or go through the motions, by the time I get to the end of that workout, it's a lot easier to convince myself to do some abs and forego the cardio. And I can't do that. I know I've got to keep up with the cardio and keep it strong. So anyway, I thought maybe if I knocked out the cardio first, that would wake me up and make the rest of my body more enthusiastic about a shoulder workout, which is what I was supposed to do today. And I don't know, I got to the gym around, I guess it was 6:45 for my 30 minutes of cardio, and I knocked it out, and it was a struggle. I mean, I was fighting every step of the way. I was going 7.5 miles an hour at a 2% incline, which is pretty brisk for me. That's pretty decent considering I had a leg workout yesterday. So anyway, I did it, and by the time I got to the end of it, I was just completely drenched and completely exhausted and winded and tired. And I knew I had to do the shoulder workout, so I walked over to my other gym, which is like a block away, because I figured that would give me enough time to sort of cool down. And by the time I got there, I changed t-shirts and I went in and I started hitting shoulders, but it really wasn't any easier. I still felt very weak, and I feel like a ghost walking around the gym. I feel like I'm making an effort not to bump into things and bump into people, which is kind of crazy. So this morning I sort of convinced myself that it would be okay to sort of take longer rest breaks between sets. And I think that helped a little, because I tend to not rest as much. I do a lot of supersetting at the gym, and I sort of forget that even though I'm doing a back exercise after a shoulder exercise, I'm not resting. I tend to overlook that fact. I'm still not giving myself a chance to catch my breath. So anyway, I gave myself a little bit more time a little bit more leeway, and I guess that helped a little bit. I mean, I pushed through, and I'm finding that I'm gravitating more towards machines now. I usually hit free weights really, really hard, and like this morning, I sort of intended, my intention was to go in and start off with like some really heavy upper chest, like dumbbell presses. 'Cause I feel like that's kind of a good transition into shoulders, to be honest with you. I feel like that sort of warms up, the shoulder girdle and my rotator cuffs and whatnot. And I had every intention of doing that, and I got there and I just knew there was no way. And I don't know if I'm just psyching myself out or how much of that is mental, and whether I need to get over it or not. But I don't know. I think it's that fine line between getting a burn, getting a good workout, getting a pump, and hurting yourself. And I think in my mind at this point, I'm really trying to be cognizant of how my body is responding and how I feel. And I obviously, like, the last thing I want to do is injure myself this close. So anyway, I am gravitating more towards machines. I just feel like they're safer. I feel like I can push weight without having to be as conscientious about my form. Whereas with a free weight, if you're pushing a heavy weight and your form's not 100%, I think you're a lot more prone to injury. So anyway, that was kind of how my workout went, and then I followed it up with some tanning. I don't know if you can see, I'm actually getting really dark. That's sort of my cookie. After I work out, I feel like I enjoy to just stand there for 10 minutes and tan, even though I know that's not good for me. I do it anyway, but I guess that's pretty much where I'm at. I contacted Jeff a couple days ago and just kind of told him I wanted to get his consultation on training for the next couple of weeks up into this competition, because I kind of feel like I'm entering uncharted waters. And I've read online that a lot of people tend to do more circuit training, lighter weight, like the week prior. But here I'm 3 weeks out. I've still technically got 2 weeks to go of, I think, what should be pretty intense training. And I just don't feel like I have it. I don't know. I guess Jeff gave me a workout yesterday. I haven't really had a chance to look over it in depth. But, I guess maybe I'm just looking for something that's more set, like some guidance where I just know exactly what I'm going to be doing at the gym. I can just kind of follow his routine, to the T. Including reps, and I don't think he really gives you weight, but I think he gives you an idea of reps and sort of the cadence or how quickly you should be doing exercises and that sort of thing. So that's kind of where I'm at with my workouts. And I will openly admit, I've been emailing Jeff about the cardio specifically. Like the other day, I guess it was Saturday, and my legs just felt so weak and wobbly. And the idea of getting on a treadmill and running at 7.5 miles an hour for 30 minutes, it just kind of scared me. I was just in there thinking, like, I don't know if I can do this without, like, falling off the damn treadmill. And, I'm supposed to do 3 30-minute cardio sessions a week, and I've been pushing it over the top. I don't think I've been doing moderate intensity on 2 days. I think I've just been doing high intensity all across the board. And I don't know, I just don't feel as good when I get on like an exercise bike for 30 minutes and try to like make myself pedal fast enough to get my heart rate up. I just don't feel, I guess you don't get that runner's high that you would get from running, obviously. But anyway, I think the problem with getting on an exercise bike for me is that I feel like it just completely burns out my quads. And I feel like it's an effort to, like I said, push myself to the point where my heart rate gets up high enough into a training zone. But I also feel like when I do that, I feel like my quadriceps are just completely trashed. I feel like my hip flexors are trashed. And by the time I get to like a leg workout for the week, or if I'm trying to do like deadlifts, which, for me, I think I tend to use my legs a lot on a deadlift. By the time I get there, I just feel like I'm like gimpy legs. I feel like I am so weak in the knees. Even just walking back from the gym this morning, like, I feel like it is such an effort to put one foot in front of the other without falling over. I feel so weak. I feel like a strong wind would knock me over. That is how I feel these days. And like I said, it's 3 weeks out. It's like, oh my God, 3 weeks, and oh my God, 3 weeks, you know, in terms of like my posing routine and stuff, which is like still pretty much non-existent. I don't know if I'm going to be ready, you know, it's that sort of feeling. But, you know, having said that, I am really trying to give myself some leeway. I'm trying not to be so hard on myself. I'm following the diet to the T and whatnot, but you know, I just, as I get closer and closer, I just feel like I can't really do any more than I already am. I feel like I can't push myself anymore without, you know, being superhuman at this point, because I just feel so depleted and so tired, and all I can think about is my next meal, which kind of brings me to another point. Like, I have been dreaming about food and like having nightmares about food, like literally like having nightmares about like eating entire cakes and stuff, and then I'll wake up from the dream and like realize that it was just a dream, and I'll feel so relieved that I wasn't actually eating fistfuls of sheet cake and stuff like that. And I know that it's comical, but it's really kind of twisted, you know, and like, I don't know, it just kind of scares me. Like I'm getting close. I know I'm only a couple weeks out, and then after that I know I'm going to be able to eat again, and you know, I know that'll feel good, but it's just, it's getting hard. I actually did not expect the temptations and the cravings to be getting tougher at this point, but I kind of feel like they are, which really, you know, kind of sucks. But I'm trying to think what else. I have decided that I'm going to do, you know, after having said all that, I've decided I'm going to do a second competition. As it turns out, the OCB New Jersey Natural Open is the following weekend after the WNBF Garden State Classic. And that is actually the competition I went to last year as a spectator for the first time. And I was lying in bed the other night and I kind of thought, you know, that's really around the same time. And sure enough, it's the following weekend. So I decided to go ahead and do it. You know, it's another couple $100 worth of car rental and entry fees and whatnot, but I just figured at this point I'm so close, and why not get 2 shows under my belt just to say that I've done 2 shows, because I feel like I've invested so much time and effort and experience and money and all that kind of stuff at this point. You know, I feel like it can't hurt to you know, to do that additional weekend, and then after that my wife and I are on vacation, and I'm just going to eat myself silly. But yeah, I don't know. In a way, I kind of feel like that's coming full circle for me, if I can sort of end where I began and, you know, complete that competition. And I remember that was a tough competition. There was some really, really amazing competitors in that show. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. But I think at that point, though, I'll have the one show that I had sort of set out to do finished, and now I think it's just kind of gravy on top if I can, you know, say that I've done another one, and who knows, maybe that'll be the last one I ever do, or maybe it'll be something I want to come back and revisit in a year or two if I really feel good about it. But that's kind of my plans for the next couple of weeks, and I guess I'm just going to keep pushing through and keep giving it my all. I hate this feeling of being so weak. I think that's the hardest part about this. I just hate feeling weak. And I look around the gym and I'm actually like jealous of these guys that are pushing all this heavy weight. They're obviously not prepping for a contest. Like, they've got body fat, and I know they had a cheeseburger last night, and I'm jealous of that. I want to get to that point again where I'm like putting on weight and I'm bulking and I can go in and actually move some substantial weight instead of feeling like a concentration camp survivor. Like, that's kind of how I feel, you know, not to put too fine a point on it. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to those days. It's not something I ever really appreciated because I'd never done this before, so it's sort of something I've always just taken for granted. I mean, I remember last year, or, you know, 20 weeks ago, like dreading having to eat. I remember like dreading having to have another like mass gainer shake at work and stuff, and now like it's all I want. All I want is like my next meal. You know, I'm like living for my next meal. So anyway, that's it for Tuesday the 21st. I guess I'll check in a couple of days.